The following presentation contains very graphic and disturbing material. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Most people believe that the Ouija board is just a child's game for Halloween or other nighttime occasions. But its origins go back to 1890 when similar boards were used by people to contact dead relatives. There are various accounts of people playing the Ouija board and later experiencing terrifying apparitions in the hours after the participants made contact with spirits they believe to be their relatives. There are even people who were known to play the Ouija board and later were declared mentally incapacitated. Let's briefly examine some of these accounts. The first account occurred around 1975. The individual, who we will call Samuel, engaged in a Ouija board session along with various relatives. They made contact with an entity that answered all of their questions. In particular, they all wanted to know who they would marry. Later that night, as Samuel headed home, he was walking down the street at around 10 p.m. when he turned a corner. As he was walking down that block, he saw a woman that was walking toward him. The woman wore long clothes that covered her feet as she approached Samuel, but she didn't appear to be walking. She seemingly appeared to glide over the road as he approached Samuel. As she came increasingly close to Samuel, she began to get taller and taller. At one point, Samuel realized the disturbing event but is so horrified that he is frozen and unable to react or run. At the point where the woman is right next to Samuel, she is at her tallest, reaching a stature that is impossible for any human. As she continued down the block, her height began to decrease, returning to normal by the time she reached the end of the block. Samuel reports that on the night of this apparition, he did not drink any alcohol or use any medication that could explain the events that took place that night. The next account of disturbing events following a Ouija board session occurred somewhere between 1994 and 1996. The person who reports this occurrence was a student at Abilene Christian University. It is notable that this occurred on a campus belonging to a university that presents itself as a faith-based institution. We will call the student Gloria in order to protect her privacy. Surprisingly, she did not play or even touch the Ouija board herself. She was only present while other students engaged with the board. After the Ouija board session concluded, she went to the university library to study and sat down on the floor of the library lobby, where there was a piano. She became sleepy and fell asleep. When she woke up, she looked around and was shocked to see what she knew right away was impossible. She was surrounded by people dressed up in 1920s attire. The people looked transparent and one of them was sitting down in front of the piano and was playing it. She entered in such an extreme panic that she ran out the library as fast as she could, and when she ran out, two floating hands grabbed her legs. This is one of the most disturbing accounts of a post-Ouija board event in the sense that Gloria did not play the board at all, but was merely a witness to a group of other students engaging in the malignant act of contacting the dead. Gloria only shared this experience with a small number of people because she feared being called crazy for telling people of her horrific encounter with those spirits. This takes us to the next account of events following a session with the Ouija board. A group of high school-aged students gathered in one of the students' home to engage in a session with the board. They succeeded in making contact with someone, and asked them many questions. The spirit they contacted claimed to be a woman who had died and was buried outside of the house the students were in the backyard just under the window. The spirit asked them to unbury her, to which they replied no. Later that night, one of the students looked through a window and saw someone walking in the backyard. The last person we will talk about is the person who became insane after multiple sessions with the Ouija board. We will call her Eunice. It is impossible to prove that the Ouija board was the only factor in Eunice's mental degradation, but it raises high suspicion that she became completely insane within just 1 year of her repeat sessions with the Ouija board, in which she and a friend engaged in contacting spirits or beings with the purpose of inquiring about their future. It has been over 40 years since Eunice became mentally ill, and while her condition has not worsened, she has never regained her previous mental state that she had before she started playing the Ouija board. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Things You Should Know. As always, thanks for watching.